Hi guys, it's Sam for Digital Meat, and in this tutorial we're going to be looking at how we can get glow to work through a transparent object. First off, I just want to say that if I sound like a bit of a snivelling street urchin, I've got a cold at the moment, so you'll have to excuse that. Okay, let's just jump straight into it. I'm going to make a cube. I'm going to make a material, double clicking the material zone. I'm just going to call this, I'm going to leave it as matte actually. I'm going to turn off colour and reflectance, we don't need those, and I'm going to make a luminant material. I'm going to drop this colour down to yellow, shove it up here so it's a little bit warmer, something like this, and I'm going to drop that onto our cube. And if I render, it's just a uniform colour over the entire surface of the cube because it's in the luminant channel. Now, if I wanted to glow on this, typically what I do is open up the material, and here we can see that we have glow. Now, I just want to open up the render settings side by side with this because when we actually tick this glow on, you'll notice something get added here in the render settings. So we'll tick glow on, and then we've got this object glow that appears in the render settings. And this is because it's a post effect, basically. It's adding the glow after the fact. Okay, so actually while we're in the render settings, I'll do what I usually do. Go to film and HDTV, 24 frames a second, lock the ratio, and then drop this down to 800, just so it's better visible for you guys. And obviously in the material now we've got, you can see the difference between glow on and off in the actual material itself up here. That's it off, and there's it on. So in this we've got inner strength, outer strength, the radius, all these other settings. And so if I render now, you can see that this object appears to have a glow. In fact, I'm just going to rain some of this stuff in because let's rain down the inner strength just so we've got a bit of fall off and it looks a bit more natural. Well, not natural, but we can actually see what it's doing better. No, that didn't do anything either. Actually, in that case, then let's put that back to 100 and make the radius bigger. Let's see if that has an effect. Let's make it 150. Actually, let's leave it at 75. Pardon me. Render that. There you go. So you've got this glow coming off the edge of it there. I'm going to make this outer strength 250 actually, and I'm going to half the inner strength as well just to see what kind of, so it's not so mental. There we go. You can see our box and you can see the glow around it. Okay, now this is where the problem starts with transparent objects. A friend of mine had his object that he had glowing, but he wanted to put inside of what he described like a bulb, like a light bulb, so the glass element of a light. And this is what happened. So I'm just going to use a sphere for argument's sake. In fact, I'm going to make this cube 100 by 100, so it actually fits inside our sphere. I'm going to make a new material, and I'm going to call it glass. I'm going to take off the colour and the reflectance, because we can do most of our reflectance work in the transparency channel. So I'm going to turn transparency on. Obviously you see it's 100% transparent and you can't really see it, and it's because its refraction is 1, which is the same as air pretty much. So if we change this to something like glass, there we go, we can see here, you know, it does look like glass. So I'll add that to our sphere. I might make this sphere a little bit bigger actually. Let's make it 200. Maybe a bit too much. 150, that should do it. 150 centimeters. Now we render. Okay, that doesn't help us. You can't really see the glass either because we've got a black background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sky in here. This is just for your benefit, really. I'm going to add a sky, make a new material, turn these channels off, call this sky. And then in the luminance channel, I'm going to open my window, content browser, and I've already got a HDR image here. In fact, let's resize this because that's way too big. It's mental. There we go. have to excuse the sizes of stuff. I'm working on a screen that's only 720, so let's use this one. That can go in the luminance channel there. Great, it's having a think. That's fine, and I'm going to drag this onto the sky. Obviously we don't want to see that, so I'm going to right click on the sky, SimR4D tags, composite in, seen by camera, take that off, and then when we render you can still see through the glass and see the image of that. So I'm going to go back to the composite in tag and say we want to see the reflections, but we don't want to see the refraction, so I'm going to take that off, render that. There we go. So we can see where our glass is. You can see you've got some jaggeds here as well. That'll be due to the anti-aliasing. So I'm just going to go to oh, excuse me. Just going to go to the render settings, go to physical renderer, go to physical. Our sampler we're going to leave it adapted, put it on automatic, and then drop the shading error threshold down to maybe 15%. That should be good enough for what we're doing. It'll look nice for you guys. If I render now, not so many jaggers, and you know, we've got a thing. Right, so as you can see, we've got our luminant material with a glow on it, and when we render, there is no glow. And if we hide our sphere from, in fact, if we just turn our sphere off and then render, obviously you can see it's got a glow. So this sphere is blocking the post effect. So what if you want to put something inside a transparent object and you want the glow? Well, this method is not the way to go about it. So let's turn off glow here. And when we render, even without the sphere now, you won't see a glow, because we've taken the glow off of the material that this cube has got. And also in our render settings, if we open that back up, we can select object glow and we can right click and say remove. Better turn it off first, that might help. It's not letting me remove it for some reason. Might be a conflict with one of my plugins. But anyway, this object glow, we don't need this. What we want to do to achieve what we're trying to do is if we go to effect, and instead of using this object glow, which is what is automatically applied when we tap glow in the material, we want to go to effect and just choose glow, and it'll add this. It's just called glow. Let's close this for now and just render. Okay, you can see that it added a glow over the top. Let's make it a little bit more extreme. So we go into our render settings, the size, 5%. Let's crank this up to 25% and see what result we get from that. There we go. So you can see it work that over the top of it. Its intensity is 10%. Then you've got this back intensity luminosity. Then you've got use back luminosity. So you can tweak things very, you know, you can really hone what you're doing there. And if you actually click on the help menu, it'll explain to you exactly what all these things, you know, what all these things do. So here's some pretty good examples. So I'm not going to go into that because you've got eyes and you can read. So you can have a look at those settings yourself. I'm merely concerned with, in fact, let's try and get it to fall off a little bit nicer. So we've got you can change the colour, you can the distance, attenuation, surface, noise. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so I'm going to drop this back down to about 20%. The intensity, let's crank that up to 15. See what kind of result we're getting. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, let's rein this back a bit. There we go, so we've got our glow. Let's turn our sphere back on and then render. Now, as you can see, we've got our sphere with our cube object in there, with its luminant material on it, and we've got our glow. Oh, excuse me. And if I render out to the picture viewer, so there we go, it's putting the post effect on. If I go back to the render settings and turn this glow off, I think I'm going to see sneeze again. Yes, I am. So we take off our glow and render out to the picture viewer again. We can actually flip between them and see the difference. So that's how you get a glow working through transparency in Cinema 4D. You do not want to use the glow that's here in the material along with this object glow. You just need to use glow found in the effect. So that's a little quick tip. Right guys, you've probably just seen a little transition in the video, or a little break, and that's because I wanted to come back to this to mention something else that should be mentioned about the glow in general, not just glow through transparency. But so if we look at our render settings and then go to our glow, you'll notice that we've got this object ID, and that can actually be particularly useful because if I create another cube, let's just make it 100 again, so it's the same size as our, I don't know why I didn't just duplicate the cube that I already had, to be honest. I am ill. But yeah, if we go there, I'm just going to sort out my output again, because I just had to reload Cinema 4D and set this up again. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, so if I set that up again and then apply this to this box, same material, and then render, you're going to notice we're getting a glow off of both of these objects. What if I don't want this object here to be glowing? Now this is where the object ID comes in. As you can, if I go down to the glow, object ID is greyed out at the moment. So if we click on use, it says object ID 1. Okay, now if I render, nothing's got the glow effect on it. So you have to assign that ID number to our objects now to get them to glow. So if I go to our first cube that's inside the sphere, right click on it, go to Cinema 4D tags and add a compositing tag, and then go all the way to the right on the tabs here to object buffer and enable, and in here we make sure it's 1. In this case it already is 1, so object buffer number is 1. In our render settings for glow, the object ID is 1, so they both match, and that's this cube here. So now when we render, we'll see that this has got the glow effect, whereas this one hasn't. So that's how you can control what has it and what hasn't. So you can exclude items or include items into what has got that glow effect. Okay. So yeah, that's just a little bit extra knowledge on the end for you. Okay, cheers guys, thanks for listening. Check out the YouTube channel, Facebook page, Twitter, and of course the Digital Meat page itself, digitalmeat.uk. Thanks for listening. Bye.